Welcome to the reading of the Times Reporter newspaper for Wednesday, June the 10th. My name is Pam, and let's begin with the area deaths. Bernice L. Ellison, 90, of Carrollton, passed away Sunday morning, June 7th, in her daughter's home. A graveside service will be held in honor of Bernice Friday, June 12th at 11:30 a.m. in Harlem Springs Cemetery. Sharon Goddard, 69, of Midvale, passed away Tuesday, May 5th. In keeping with Sharon's wishes, cremation has taken place and a memorial service will be held Sunday at 11:45 a.m. following worship service at Community Baptist Church in Dover. Harry Wayne Ott, 55, of Baltic, died Monday, June 8th, at the Cleveland Clinic in Cleveland. Family services will be held on Friday, June 12th at 11 a.m. at Smith Barnes Funeral Home in Sugar Creek. Friends may call on Thursday from 5 to 8 p.m. at the funeral home, with social distancing being observed. Pete A. Vega, also known as Petey Boy, 73, of Jupiter, Florida, and Delroy, Ohio, passed away on Friday, June 5th, in Tequesta, Florida. In accordance with his wishes, cremation has taken place and a celebration of life will be announced at a later date. Betty J. Wide went to be with the Lord on June 9th. Services will be held at the Nazarene Church on Friday, June 12th at 11 a.m. There will be no visitation, and masks are preferred. Well, that concludes the death notices available in the Wednesday online edition of the Times Reporter. Why don't we start with our first article? High temperature record remains intact in New Philadelphia. Although many locations in Ohio reached record high temperatures today, Tuesday, Tuscarawas County fell short at 91 degrees in the county seat of New Philadelphia. Our record high for June 9th remains intact at 93 degrees, set in 1999, according to Tuscarawas Weather Network. However, it seemed even hotter as at 7 p.m. the weather conditions were clear in New Philadelphia and the 90-degree temperature felt like it was 95 degrees. Well, our next article is titled, Former Students Gather to Watch as the Demolition of the Old Dover High School Begins, by John Baker. In Dover, it was bittersweet moments for the 50 or more people gathered on North Walnut Street Tuesday morning as they watched an excavator tear into the brickwork in the 1915 wing of the old Dover High School. Dust filled the air as work began to demolish the old high school, which has sat empty since students and staff made the move into the new high school in March. The crowd included everyone from senior citizens to children in strollers. Many were taking pictures or filming the demolition work. It's very sad, says Dottie Jenkins, who was watching with her friend Lovey Smith. We're standing here and we're both starting to cry. We graduated together. Jenkins said she had a lot of memories from the old school. I cried when the band room went down, she said. Smith has come every day to watch as work crews made preparations to begin the demolition work. It stinks, she said. I don't like it at all. It's history and it should stay. James Gallagher, who attended Dover schools as a child, came to watch and hopes to eventually get a brick from the building for himself and his sister. It's sort of sad, he said. On the outside, it looks a little bit older, but it still looks like it would be in good shape. But of course, inside, it would probably be a different story. Bob Everett, a retired Dover police officer and former member of the Dover Board of Education, has also come every day to take pictures to post on his Facebook page. Everett graduated from Dover High School in 1979. His mother, Betty, worked in the high school cafeteria for 20 years. He also has memories going to the school as a police officer. There were very few nooks and crannies that I didn't know where they were or how to get there because of the job, he said. He has been posting photos to keep former residents up to date and what is going on in their old hometown. I've really been trying to keep the out-of-towners informed with photos because I know there's a lot of out-of-towners, Everett said. I once was for 5 years. Dover High School is near and dear to many people. It's not just a building, It's an institution for some. It's nice to keep the folks informed that cannot be here because they're out of town. While he said it was bittersweet to see the old school being demolished, he recognized the need for a new one. Overall, no one likes taxes, he said. No one likes new taxes. But if we're going to keep up with the times and the progress that the children of today need, we've got to give them the tools to be able to progress. There's only one way we can do that. That's have a building fully equipped with internet and the capabilities of internet. You just can't live in yesterday's world today. Superintendent Carla Burney said the completion date for the entire project is October 1st. That includes demolition of the old high school and installation of a parking lot for the new high school, sidewalks, and landscaping. The parking lot will be located on the site of the old building. This is a milestone in the project, allowing us to move forward to complete the site, she said of the demolition. Well, this next article is titled Tuscarawas County Museums Prepare to Welcome Visitors Again by John Baker. Tuscarawas County Museums and attractions are making plans to welcome visitors again after Governor Mike DeWine gave them the green light last week to reopen. Dee Grossman, Executive Director of the Tuscarawas County Convention and Visitors Bureau, said museum leaders are anxious to reopen, but also anxious to figure out how to do it right. They have to meet Centers for Disease Control guidelines and keep visitors and staff safe from the spread of coronavirus. It's going to be tricky, but we've faced challenges in the past. Not as big as this, but we're up to the challenge, she said. The Denison Railroad Depot Museum, the Uhrichsville Clay Museum, and Schönbrunn Village will be open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for museum members, says Wendy Zukal, director of the Denison Railroad Depot Museum, which operates all three sites. They will be open to all visitors on June 16th. The opening plan for Schönbrunn has already been approved by the Ohio History Connection, which owns the historic village. We've spent months on this, Zukal said. We've been educating ourselves and learning from other museums for some time, so we're ready. Tammy Mackey Schrum, the site manager for Zoar Village and Fort Lawrence, is aiming to open on June 17th. She's awaiting approval for the reopening plan from the Ohio History Connection, which owns the two sites. The plan details how many people can be in each building and the directional flow for those buildings. There will be more outdoor tours, timed tours, and a time for senior citizens to visit. All guides will wear masks. Hand sanitizer will be available at the Zoar store. It was wonderful news to hear, Schrum said of the governor's announcement. We're very excited. We've been planning for the opening for a while now. Sheila Pruney, director of the Reeves Museum in Dover, is not sure when the museum will open. There is a barrier already in place at the welcome desk, but coverings still need to be installed on railings at the museum. With our location, the guidelines will be easy to follow, she says, noting that the carriage house is large enough to maintain social distancing. Preparing to open is more difficult for Trumpet in the Land. Margaret Bonamico, general manager of the Outdoor Drama, said Trumpet officials are in the process of developing a plan to keep audience members safe and revising the script to reduce the number of people appearing on stage at one time. The plan has to be approved by the state. The goal is for Trumpet in the Land to begin performances in July. It's easy to maintain social distancing between audience members, but it's more difficult for the cast. They have to perform together, she said. For example, in one scene, main characters David and Susan Zeisberger share a kiss. Well, that can't happen now. We have to give the actors more space on stage, Bonamico said. That's the process we're working on now. The main characters will be there, but there will be no crowd scenes. Despite the challenges, Bonamico said she is pleased that Trumpet in the Land can go on this year, its 51st season. It's hard when you've done something every year and have it go away, she said. It is the history of the area, and you want to keep telling that story. We understand it's a safety issue. You do what you have to do and hope it works out for everybody. Zuccal applauded the efforts of State Senator Jay Hottinger, Republican from Newark, and State Representative Brett Hillier, Republican Denison, for their efforts in lobbying the governor to allow museums to open. Zuccal, who is also president of the Ohio Local History Alliance, sent a letter to DeWine on May 29th on behalf of the group, asking that museums be allowed to reopen on June 15th. For us, this isn't about trying to salvage admission revenues during what is left of our peak tourist season, the letter said. Although it would help many of us avoid layoffs and other painful budget cuts, as well as give a boost to the state's economy, reopening is about achieving our missions. In a recent study commissioned by the American Alliance of Museums, Americans identified museums as places where they can heal and be inspired in the midst of the COVID-19 crisis. Can we do this through online and virtual means? Yes, but it's not the same as being there. Well, our next article, Donna Kohler, appointed to vacant Midvale seat. At the Midvale Village Council May 14th meeting, there was a key action. Donna Kohler was appointed to fill the vacant council seat of Amy Egerton and sworn in by Solicitor Greg Swope. Discussion. 2 letters of intent were reviewed prior to the appointment of Kohler. Vernon Alsept had also submitted an application. Council President Deb Krieger-Zappe made the motion to appoint Kohler, which was seconded by Councilman Jerry Propp. Kohler had been a longtime councilperson prior to serving as acting mayor in 2018, following the resignation of Brian Cross. Other actions. The second reading of the golf cart ordinance was heard. Fiscal Officer Georgianne Turner reported that the first half of property taxes have been received in the amount of $26,157. For your information, several discussions were held with no action taken. Included were when a cleanup day could be scheduled. Mayor Larry Knopp said he felt the Village Hall should remain closed indefinitely, but added perhaps appointments could be made for residents who would regularly conduct business at the hall. 3. Council discussed amending the noise ordinance to include ATVs and dirt bikes. Turner said she had spoken with Jay Suriano of Pyramid Network and learned that they are waiting on AT&T to complete their end of the agreement and that construction of the communications tower was to begin within the month. A construction schedule will be sent to the village once everything is set. COP asked the street committee to look at roads and determine which, if any, were to be repaved this year. The park committee said they were not happy with the way the concession stand, which is run by the baseball league, was left when it was closed last year. The committee will be setting up a meeting to discuss the issue further after speaking with those involved with the league. Up next, we'll meet on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. in the Park Pavilion. Submitted by Cindy Davis. Our next article, Ritter Mishler Shrine at Northern Ohio PGA Junior Tour Section Championship. East Sparta's Connor Ritter won the boys 11 to 15 age division and tied Millersburg Carter Misher for 6th in the 11-18 group. As the final round of the 2020 Northern Ohio PGA Junior Tour Section Championship took place at Portage County Country Club, in Akron on Tuesday. Ritter won the 11 to 15 group with a 1 over par 144, 70 to 71, and Mishler matched him with an identical score for the 2-day event. Topher Reed of Fairview Park won the 11 to 18 title with a 5 under par score. Mishler was 6th in the 16 to 18 division, while Brookston Hummel of Millersburg was tied for 29th in the 11 to 18 group and finished tied for 25th in the 16 to 18 division. Benton's Dylan Kaufman tied for 37th overall in the 11 to 18 group. Well, this next article is titled, Coshocton EMS and Police Vehicles Struck in a Chase. In Coshocton, a Conesville man is in custody after a police chase that saw him strike a police cruiser and an ambulance. The Coshocton County Sheriff's Office said at approximately 12:30 a.m. Tuesday it received a report of a vehicle belonging to Coshocton County Emergency Medical Services being struck by a speeding vehicle. The suspect vehicle was shortly found eastbound on Chestnut Street near 15th. Deputies tried to stop the vehicle, but it continued east on Chestnut Street. Authorities said it made a U-turn in the area of North White Woman Street and came to a stop after hitting a police cruiser. There were no injuries, but minor damage to both vehicles, the sheriff's office stated. The fleeing driver has been identified as Michael Kenneth Hardesty, 30, who was arrested and incarcerated in the Coshocton Justice Center. He has been charged with fleeing and eluding, a third-degree felony. Assisting on the scene was Prince's Record Service. Moving on, OSU Extension offering pressure canner testing. The Tuscarawas County Office of Ohio State University Extension will be testing dial gauge pressure canners from 2 to 6 p.m. June 11th at Gooding's Farm Market, 2213 State Route 39, Dover, and from 10 to 2 p.m. June 23rd at Bolt's Family Farm Markets, 522 Hummel Valley Road, Southwest New Philadelphia. Pressure canners can be used to process low-acid foods, including vegetables, meat, poultry, and fish. These foods must be canned at the recommended time and temperature to destroy the bacterium that causes botulism food poisoning. Home canning low-acid foods in boiling water canners is unsafe because 212 degrees Fahrenheit is not high enough to destroy botulinum bacteria. Pressure canners are safe if the safety precautions are followed and the canner is used properly. Dangers arise when the unit isn't maintained and/or used properly. To make sure a pressure canner is working properly, all dial gauge pressure canners should be tested for accuracy each year. Additional pressure canner testing events will take place across the state. Those interested can register for an appointment by calling 330-340-8833 or at go.osu.edu/2020 pressure canner testing. Appointments are 15 minutes. It is asked that guests arrive on time. For information, again, call 330-340-8833. This next article is titled Zachary Davis Memorial Foundation Scholarship Winner Chosen. Taryn Chastain, Sydney Warther, and Natalie Yoder have been chosen as the 2020 winners of the Zachary Davis Memorial Foundation Scholarship. Taryn Chastain is a graduate of Canton South High School. She will be a student at Cleveland State University this fall. Sydney Warther is a graduate of Dover High School. She will be a student at Taylor University this fall and has plans to major in financial and international studies. Natalie Yoder is a graduate of Tuscarawas Valley High School. She will be a student at Walsh University this fall and has plans to study in pharmacy. Scholarship monies will be paid directly to the school where the winners are attending. The Zachary Davis Memorial Foundation works to provide opportunities for students at area schools to learn about drugs. For information, go to zacksstory.org. Moving forward, this article is titled Old Town Tavern Brings New Life to Historic Building in Tuscarawas by John Baker. The Red Brick Building at 108 South Main Street has been a community hub for the village of Tuscarawas for a century and a half as a store, post office, and in recent years as the well-known Canal House, a live music venue. The next chapter in the history of the building will begin this month when the Old Town Tavern opens for business there. The structure had sat empty for a couple of years, falling into disrepair, until Nicole and Dale Douglas Jr. bought it at an auction on May 18, 2018. They have completed restoration inside and out. They envision the Old Town Tavern as a family-friendly restaurant with all the food items cooked on a wood-fire brick oven. Their specialty will be pizza, but they will also be serving chicken wings, macaroni and cheese, finger foods, and steaks on Saturday nights. I think the food coming out of that oven, I think everybody's going to enjoy it, Dale said. It's something different. It's not something you see too much of around here yet. Hannah Stevens of Janaden Hutton has been hired as the chef. They also hope to bring back live entertainment once a month featuring bands and comedians. Everything in the building is brand new, from the kitchen equipment to the fixtures in the bathroom. Dale Douglas handmade the bar from a 4-foot round red oak tree. When we set that bar down in here, it still had the bark and everything on it, he said. I sat there with an antique drill knife and shaved all the bark off of it and contoured it. It took him about 25 hours sanding the bar to get it smooth. He also made all the tables in the dining area. People who visit the building now are amazed at what they see. It looks nothing like it did when Dale purchased it at auction. Then the roof was leaking and there was water everywhere, he said. Nobody wanted to buy it, he said. Everybody was like, this place needs bulldozed, basically. So we took a chance on it, and we bought it. The mayor told us, thank you. It's one of the oldest buildings in this town. It's the largest building in this town, and it has a lot of historical significance to the community. Dale is employed as a driver for FedEx. He worked 60 hours a week driving a semi to Indianapolis and back each day, and then put in 14 hours a day on Saturdays and Sundays, bringing the building back to life. Family and friends provided plenty of help. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into the restoration, he said. One job was to remove the plaster and drywall on the inside walls to expose the brick underneath. We came in and we sat there for hours with a ball-peen hammer just hitting the plaster, he said. If you hit it too hard, you'd end up breaking the brick because the bricks are soft from the 1800s. Much of the glass was broken out of the windows on the second floor. I actually learned how to cut glass because they're all single-paned windows from the 1800s, and I didn't want to take the character away from the building, Dale said. So I bought panes of glass and sat there with a little knife and learned how to cut glass. I think I replaced 30 panes of glass up there that were broke out. They acid stained the concrete floors in the building and refurbished the maple floor in the room where the live bands perform. The walls have been repainted and LED lighting has been installed throughout the building. Douglas said he thought that the Old Town Tavern is something that Tuscarawas needs. People appreciate what we did to save the building, he said, and that was a big reason I bought it. I didn't need to do this. I grew up here. I used to come in here all the time. I loved the building. I love history. I felt like if I don't do it, nobody's going to do it. So I went ahead and took a chance on it. He said the results speak for themselves, but he added that he would never do something like that again. Old Town Tavern will be open Wednesday through Saturday. Hours will be 5 to 11 p.m. on Wednesday and Thursday, 5 to 1 a.m. on Friday, and 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. on Saturday. If the demand is there, we'll expand the hours and the days we're open, Douglas said. Congratulations to these people. I plan to visit the Old Town Tavern. I hope you do too. This next article, Roscoe UMC to hold community dinner. The Roscoe United Methodist Church at 475 High Street in Coshocton will hold its community dinner from 5:30 to 6 June 25th in a to-go format. Meals may be picked up in the parking lot. For information, call 740-622-7780. Or you could email Christy@roscoeumchurch.org. Well, my friends, it looks like I've come to the end. So I'm going to say this concludes the reading of the Times Reporter for June 10th. My name is Pam, and I'm asking you to please stay safe, be blessed, and make it a great day.